All right, Oval fans, hope everybody's doing well. Basically, this video is touching upon a point I made in my episode review from last week. I believe it was entitled Familiar Faces. I think it's because of the fact that I reviewed last week's episode and the week before's episode so close together that I'll get the episode titles mixed up. But I mentioned in that video how there was that moment between Victoria and Jason in his room that didn't last too long, but basically, reiterated the point that Victoria is harsh on Jason because he really doesn't understand or comprehend the fact that, look, you're talking about wishing me and your father dead, but what you don't realize is your father is the only person keeping you out of being locked up in prison or an insane asylum. But, Jason's like, I don't care. And really, it's almost as if Tyler Perry has taken the characters of Amanda and Wyatt and merged them together to create Jason. And I wonder if we're going to get to a point in the series where Jason is going to experience a arranged environment, kind of like Wyatt did when he was in jail, until Veronica botched it by having Toxic go into the jail cell and rape him. But it's kind of odd, that the girl who, I guess you could say, put the family name in danger the most was the one who was sent to a apparently internment camp. I guess the Rakadushi compound. We still don't have confirmation of that. But then the man who's murdered 3 people, including Victoria's mother, gets to ride scot-free in his bedroom. Now, given the fact that the staff of the White House are supposed to keep things under wraps, like, can't talk about things that go on in the White House outside of the White House, why haven't they gotten to a point where they've gotten Jason committed somewhere very, very, very private? I know we live in a day and age where it seems like everything is on social media, like when it comes to movie productions, MCU, or anything for that matter. There might be 1 or 2 random photos that a passerby or a fan gets from being a certain distance away from the set, but they can still zoom in. So I wonder if they could, I don't know, disguise Jason or something along those lines and then get him committed. But I think that it's hard to say reform because the man's killed 3 women in cold blood. So I feel like with Jason, you really can't do much with the character to make me like him. I do feel like he's a hell of an entertaining factor on the show. He's definitely been a highlight of season 2, but I think that probably has more to do with Gail being out of the picture, because kind of like on Assisted Living, how Sandra got a lot of the spotlight in season 1, that Philip just kind of seemed to be there. Jason was in the same boat until the very end of season 1. Then when season 2 came around, when it was pretty much, just him as the only quote unquote child in the White House, that's when his character was allowed to shine, I guess you could say, in the darkest way possible. But of course, it's gotten to the point now where I'm not saying Jason isn't going to be killing more people, but I feel like we're seeing Jason taking more of a manipulative role I know some people, well, a lot of people do get the comic book references, but if you've ever read the Joker, Batman, The Killing Joke, then Joker's whole thing is one bad day. All it takes is one bad day for even the most upright, upstanding citizen, just the average everyday person. One bad day can turn them on the road, from the road of sanity to insanity. And it seems like Jason's trying to do the same thing by making other people do the same cruel, malicious, devious acts and crimes he has. Why do you think he's pushing for Alan to kill his father? Or, even though he hasn't verbally said it, it seems like he's kind of pushing Priscilla the route of killing his mother. It's just weird because with Jason doing all of these things, I guess one could argue that the reason he hasn't just killed his parents himself is because of the fact that, well, his parents are too protected, so it would take somebody under them who works for them to do the dirty deed. even though, you know, he could probably do it himself. But like I said, they're the president and first lady, so he'll have to be strategic about it. But then again, we know season 3 is going to come, and 2 new characters, the vice president and second lady, will be trying to usurp the power from Hunter and Victoria. So we know they're not going to die this season, but it seems like things are stacking up for next season, you know, heat up some more. But I'm not saying I don't like Jason, even though he killed Jean, but in terms of, like, you know, things that get me excited about the Oval, even though he can do some pretty disgusting things, I wonder if there's ever going to be a moment where he's in a situation that involves him understanding that, oh my gosh, my parents, particularly my father, is the only reason I'm not in jail right now, that I'm not going to trial, that I'm not going to prison. So I wonder if we're just going to see Jason continue down this path. You know, will we see him in therapy more? It's one of those things where I just hope we don't get the Wyatt thing where he goes into rehab but then gets out, gets high, almost dies, and then the cycle repeats itself. I just hope we don't just see Jason hanging around like everything's normal. And I think Gail is coming back in season 3, so I wonder what that dynamic's going to be like, because of the fact that, well, we don't know what happened to Gail after she got taken off the airplane and just, you know, those men took her away into the darkness. So I wonder what her character is going to be like in season 3, as well as when Jason interacts with his sister again, because this is a Jason that isn't the same one we saw the last time these two were together. Things have kind of changed. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Jason's going to be sent away somewhere? Do you think he's just going to chill in the White House, walk around naked with his thing out? I don't know. But thanks so much for tuning in, and I would love to see him at the compound. I've already done a couple of videos on this before, like, you know, Jason going to the Rakadoushi compound. It would be interesting for him to interact with the likes of Daikon, and I feel like I speak for everyone when River and Jason, like, you know, those two are freaking twins. They need to be on screen together at some point, you know. And then just the fact that, you know, you got people like the Highest and, you know, so many young women around. I could see Jason trying to, oh Lord, to be honest, Jason would be the perfect character to go on the Ruthless series, just because of how dark and twisted it is. He's the kind of person on the Oval who would fit in the most. I would say Kyle too, but I would have to give it to Jason. I would have to give it to Jason as being like the quote-unquote #1 new recruit. But then again, it is the first son, so, you know, they really don't like to dabble in politics like that. But I don't know, or we'll just have to wait and see. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you all in the next video.